share with you guys the story of me buying my dream car, a black 458 Ferrari Italia. And here's a couple things that I want to talk about. I'm going to go into when is the right time to buy it, how I bought it, how I did it, my thought process, and ultimately how it felt when I actually got behind the car and I drove it for the very first time. Let's go. So I bought the car when I was 27 years old. Now, that may seem young to some, that may seem old to others, but ultimately, I didn't decide on the car at 27. I decided that I wanted to buy the car much earlier than that. At 21, I've always been big on cars. I love the way they feel. I love the way it makes me feel when I'm behind the wheel and I'm punching the gas and the sound of the engine is ripping and roaring. That brings so much joy to me. So having the car was always there, right? I didn't do it for other people. I did it because I wanted it. So the thought process came in way before. I knew I've always wanted that car. But like I said, I made the decision when I finally got a job and I was selling real estate, helping people flip real estate, and I was flipping real estate. And it was about planning. And I had to make sure that if I'm gonna do this at this age, I needed to make sure that I can truly afford it. So I started putting money aside. I started building my other businesses to pay for the car because ultimately I didn't want to trade my time for that money only to go blow it somewhere that isn't going to bring me back a return. And that's ultimately what I decided on the plan and the path to get there. Because although some may argue it's not smart to put that much money into a car, I did not want to buy the car unless I could pay for it in cash. And that's exactly what I did. I had the pink slip in hand. Let's talk about the planning stage a little bit more because some people just think that you just go to the dealership, boom, you buy the car. That wasn't how it was for me. So I was building my businesses. At the time, 27, I had started my real estate business, the flipping business. I was wholesaling properties, and I opened up Rise and Grind and the VA Hub. The thing is that with people who have businesses, sometimes they take that money out, and instead of reinvesting it back into the business, they take it and they buy toys. And then the business starts to struggle and run into financial turmoil because they took the money that was needed from the business to go fund a toy. I didn't want to do that, guys. So I waited until the businesses threw off enough cash to where it was self-sufficient, it had enough money to grow, but then there was a little bit left over to go spend on the Ferrari. So once the money was there and I had the money, the next thing that I needed to figure out was, did I really want this car or not? And so I slept on it even after having the money for a few months because I didn't want to be impulsive and spend the $100,000+ only to just be like, oh man, I didn't really want it. Because you hear about this all the time. People want to buy these cars to flex. And ultimately, when you do that, it doesn't make you happy because pleasing other people isn't what you should be doing. So before you go and you buy that dream car of yours, make sure it is something that you really want and is going to bring you a lot of joy. So after months of just sleeping, I was like, man, nope, I want the car. Like this, it's going to make me feel good, right? And so the next thing I did was I didn't just go out to the dealership and buy and get, played pretty much. I put the word out there. I told the world that, look, I am looking for a Ferrari 458. Very specific. I wanted this, this, and this because I did my research. And the thing is that when you tell the world what you want, there are some good things that happen. Number one, you become accountable to your word. And if you are a person of integrity, what your word is law, and you do it. So the cool thing is telling the world, telling people what I wanted. Somebody actually called me and said, hey, Brian, I got the perfect Ferrari for you. It has all the specs you wanted, and it's even in the color that you wanted. And if you know me by now, 90% of the time, I buy my cars in black. And so the Ferrari I bought was black on black with the race seats and yellow brake caliper. Pristine, baby. I want to talk to you guys about the day of delivery because it's not what you would have expected. When I got the car, when I sat in the car, when I turned on the engine, I felt real good. But when I drove the car, I was scared as hell. Because number one, not only at the time was that the most money I've ever spent on a car. Number two, it's a Ferrari. Of course you're gonna be scared. And number three, that was the fastest car that I've driven at that moment, right? 500 plus horsepower, a light car, mid-engine. I mean, that thing just took off, and it was rear-wheel drive. So if you punched it too hard, it would get loose. And by that means it goes, you know, like a little crazy, and I didn't want to crash the thing. So I was so nervous. My hands were sweaty. A little bit from the fear of crashing it or damaging it, but also just from, like, this was my car. This is the reality, guys. Like, how exciting is it for you to work so hard for something, to dream about it for months and months and months, and then to actually have it in hand, yours. That feeling, guys, is what I want every single one of you guys to experience. You deserve to have whatever it is that you want in life. And somewhere along the line, people let the social environment that they're in dictate what they should have. That you don't deserve a Ferrari, that you don't deserve a big house, that you don't deserve the big dreamy vacation. Guys, I'm here to tell you that you deserve it all. If you do right by people, if you work hard, if you're financially responsible, you deserve it all. But there is a caveat. You deserve everything you want in life only if you go out there and you work for it. It's not impossible, but it requires work. And I'm here to tell you guys, if you guys are watching this and you're inspired but you don't know where to start, I want you guys to watch this video over here and read these 5 books. To change your life, you have to change the way you think. And when you change the way you think, guys, the rest will come easily. Let's go. Like and follow.